What's up, boys? Zaid here with the man, the myth, the legend, Tyler. What you do, Tyler?
We got third at locals with a 50 card pile of Invoked Dogmatika Eldlich.
Let's see it.
Alright, so I have the first part here just separated with all the engines. For the Invoke part of it, it's 3 Alistair, 3 Meltdown, the 2 Invocation, and Terraforming. I would say this is all fairly standard.
The good old 7 Alistair.
Yeah, 7 Alistair is probably the best way to have Alistair. For the Dogmatika part, it's 2 Ecclesia, the 1 Floor, the 3 Nadir, and the 2 Punishment. I would say this is also fairly standard. I didn't want to max out on 3 Punishment because I didn't want to be locked out of my extra deck for going into like the late game. And I think 2 Ecclesia is fairly standard. You could make an argument for 3, but I just typically stick with 2. You want to see the Dear Servant over the Ecclesia anyway, so I think it's fine, but you could, like I said, you could probably mess around with putting it at 3. For the Eldlich part, I would say this is also just pretty standard. 2 Lord, 3 Eldland, 3 Sanguine, 3 Conch, 3 Haquero.
I love this card in this kind of deck. So you could use it as a light target for the Invoked, but then you also could send Field Spell Special it. That's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's some weird interactions it has with it. Like, I use this as an OTK piece a lot of the time. I did it against Mike, I remember specifically, just to like bait out the Merkaba or his Merkaba and just bring it back just as a 35 body. Like, that alone is almost half of their life points, so it's pretty crazy. Pretty much. Yeah, I would say all that's fairly standard. I know some people might still play only 2 of this, but I think maxing out on all of them is proper because you want to see that engine as soon as possible.
Did you ever want any of the other Eldlixirs, the quick play or the normal spell?
No, I don't. I think in your version with just Invoked, it's fine. Or if you only have like 1 supplementary engine, it's fine. But if you have more than if you have 2 engines, or if you think you're fine without going into like extreme grind situations where you need that kind of stuff, I think it's just better just not to play them. And then the next part here is our hand trap lineup. It's a little bit weird. It's 2 Ash, 2 Bell, 2 Veiler, and then 3 Imperm.
Damn, you look ready for Crossout coming out.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I played this ratio. But the 3 Imperm, this one's cracked going first or second, so that's the one I just wanted to max out on. Also, the deck's kind of a trap, mainly sort of a trap deck anyway, so trap card.
That card's the right color.
Yeah. And then 2 of each of these, because I didn't want to max out on each of them and make it like 52, I think, or 53 it would be. But I also wanted to have each of these in some kind of circulation.
Do you do like Helki Fibrax, Celine, Access Code Talker combo in this deck or no?
I do not. I considered it, but I didn't really want to. It sounds weird, but I just didn't really want to dedicate the extra deck space to it, even though the extra deck space kind of doesn't matter. But I thought this was fine. It worked out for me. Opening hands in the tournament. I also saw, instead of seeing sometimes where you'd have 3, you would open 2 Ash or 2 Bell or something. I opened a fair amount of games where it was an Ash and a Bell, or an Ash and a Veiler or something like that, and it worked out pretty decently. I was more so trying to prepare for something like a Tri Brigade or something similar, so that's why I had the specific hand trap lineup I had.
I like the idea of playing 2 of so that you draw more combinations of and not get clogged on just 1 hand trap.
Yeah, you could make an argument for 3 Ash and 3 Bell though. So, but besides that, I was perfectly fine just having that ratio with everything. I think something like this card as well also kind of helps with it, in a theoretical sense. Prosperity. It's the only other spell in the deck. It's just crazy. Literally, and not a prosperity for every deck. A duality for every deck, but it's just an insane card. It's like Lyle said one time that honestly I feel like I can't really play a deck without this card. Like it can just be so crazy sometimes, and then there's some times where it's just like fuck, I hate this card. Then the rest of it is trap cards. If it wasn't already trap cards, 3 strike, because it's the most insane trap card right now until Phoenix Enforcer comes out and makes this card poopy.
You can't just strike her as effect or strike as effect because then it destroys it and it comes back and it did its job anyways.
Yeah, that's stupid. And then it's kind of the same with hand traps. I wanted to have both of these in circulation, but I didn't want to commit to like 3 and 1 because that to me would just feel really weird. So I played 2 Torrential and 2 IDP. We don't really have like Drytron or anything that like would make this to where this card isn't that good. I guess you could make an argument that it's not as good with VW because they're like worms and psychics, and we do have some people playing that on and off at locals, but I thought this was perfectly fine. I had multiple instances where this came up in different matchups, so it was good.
I feel like there's actually like no one at our locals on Drytron except like Dan. I think Dan might be the only one.
Yeah, like him. I know Klein had it at one point, but I'm pretty sure like everyone that has played it at our locals like doesn't. They might have it still, but I don't think they play it anymore.
Got burnt out on bricking.
Yeah. Even though that deck's supposed to be like the most consistent deck ever, but you know.
The hardest thing a deck loses to is itself.
Exactly.
And then the next thing's hand traps.
Yeah.
It always loses to Dark Magician, but that's not because they play against it. It's because it's in their hand.
Or Red Eyes. And then moving into the extra deck, 3 Link 1s, which is the Link Spider for the Eldlich Traps. This one for Alistair. I also like having this one in here. It would sort of be better to have Secure Gardener in some instances, but I kind of like having this as having this card as a utility for its effects sometimes, because you can if you're going in a grind situation against some decks, you can just have your Alistair come out, normal summon to get the invocation, and you can make this, and then like whatever you set up from there can have some protection behind it, because sometimes they'll go like punishment on your Merkaba, or like some kind of pop trap, or like something like that, just to try to out their board. And even in different, probably not a lot with combo situations, but this also gives you your own access to the fire one, which I do play, and I will swear, which I think you should always play if you play the Invoke package in anything. Speaking of the Invoke package, 5 of the fusions, the 2 Merkaba, the 1 Purgatrio, Raijin, and Agodes.
Why do you think that the Purg should be like a mandatory staple?
It's at this point it would technically be the 4th best one, but having access to this gives you an OTK potential just with Alistair, and it makes it so that your opponent has to respect it in the specific matchups it would come up in, or the situations it would come up in. Like if they just make a big board, like this can just go in, swing into like 4 different guys and be game.
Bro, maybe you should play Ojama Trio.
That'd be insane.
Give up 3 tokens to pierce up.
Like I do understand, like right now it's probably we're in like a weird mid-range type of format, but I still think like you should. I still think it should be played for when it comes up. Also, like everyone's playing Ash or in their decks, so like it's just an easy banish target if you just need to make a fusion for like if these are ran out or something. I don't know. But I think it is good enough to play, even if it is just there to be a card to take up space in your extra deck. Other fusions, 2 Entis for the punishment, Titaniclad for punishment punishment or Nadir, obviously. This is for punishment specifically, but
Oh, you don't fusion summon that one?
yeah, no, I don't play Blackluster Soldier and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, unfortunately.
Is there a reason why you play that over 5-headed?
Technically, yes. You could play either or, but this is a light target to have for.
For Mechaba?
Yeah, if you need to make Merkaba. But you can also technically have this for Agodes to banish from the grave if you get to the point where you can boost its attack up. But mainly it's just there for like big punishment targets that are over 25.
Using this dude to banish, that would be like...
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if someone did that to me.
It has not come up yet, but like if that ever happens, it's gonna be crazy. But it's just there for big punishment target. You could technically take this card out if you don't like fear that as much. There's also technically another card here with the Exceeds that you could use for big punishment target, but 5k is the biggest you can play in the extra deck. So this is for if you get 2 Eldlich traps, just to have like an interruption. This is here if you have 2 Golden Lords and you just want to put out more burn damage. And this is just here as like technically a second OTK option that you can't access as easily.
That just goes on top of Gustav, right? And
Yeah.
what exactly does it do? Like attack twice and gains per material?
You can detach a material to make it gain 2k, but it's the only guy that can attack that turn. And it can attack up to the materials it has +1.
So if you were to like summon this, it would have 2 materials. You detach one, put it to 1, but then you put this on. Now this card has 2, but you're probably going to detach for the effect. So it would often have 1.
It depends because it's already base 4k, so like.
So you might just 4,000 3 times.
Yeah, that's crazy enough on its own. I don't know if it's monsters specifically.
Monsters specifically, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's monsters specifically, but still like having 3 attacks on it is pretty crazy. Can be pretty crazy. And then side deck is just to start out, it's just a bunch of hand traps.
Just a bunch of high... Well, this is a hand spell. Thank you very much.
Okay. My bad. But I wanted this for combo. I wanted this to dig for other hand traps. This was specifically against Try or whatever it came up against. And,
I think it's good against Prank too, right?
Yeah, it's good against those 2 specifically, but there's other situations it can come up in. Like I could technically put this in against Dave's Thunder deck, but he plays Verte, so it's just kind of stinky in that situation.
You could play it against Virtual World and they could just overlay with it.
Oh yeah, that's why you side this in, so they get a free plus off of it. But another reason this can also technically be good is if you give them this, you can swing into it.
It gives them an extra 1 card, so you get 200 more attack.
Yeah, and then this pierces as well. So
imagine seeing a deck profile where the guy puts Context Heat down and goes, "I play this to gain 200 attack."
Oh god, that's not the main reason it's in there, but
that's the extra reason.
Yeah, that's the like cheeky reason. The only other monster on the side is Pankratops because it's stupid. It's at 1 for a reason. I didn't.
That's where your other 2 were.
I didn't want to put these in, but I didn't know what else to side, so I just put these in to potentially put in the side. They never got in the main deck. So.
They're there in case anyone gave you attitude. You could put them in and lose a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they started talking shit about how I'm playing 50 cards and I draw insane, I just put this in.
Drawing even more insane. Yeah.
Exactly. And then trap deck, so you want to side this in because they're gonna side in back row destruction against you. The fun fact, I didn't see it when they had the back row destruction. And that's it for the profile.
Any final words?
I thought all 50 cards that I played were honestly like the best ratios for that specific situation.
Like 7 Alistair.
Yeah, like I felt Like, I thought about it in, like, 10 minutes. But it seemed like it performed really well. It was Tri-Brigade, Dino Wrestlers, which was kind of funny. I was the only one at the locals that actually, besides the person playing the deck, that knew what the 4 good Dino Wrestlers did. I held up 2 fingers, but I meant 4. I lost to Dave's Thunder deck. I tied with my last opponent because he just wanted to tie, so we both topped. So whatever. What else was there? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I played against Mike. He opened bad both games, which was funny. And then
only one player can draw Alistair per match.
Yeah, and that was that's it.
All right, thank you, my man.
Well.